Chain Drug Review, and Mass Market Retailers Video Forum.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeffrey Wolt, Editor-in-Chief of Chain Drug Review and Mass Market Retailers. Welcome to our video forum. Today, we're delighted to have as our guest John Carroll, President of Digital Commerce and Advanced Analytics at the Acosta Group. John, great to have you with us.
It's great to be here, Jeffrey. It's always good to see you, and I'm excited about our conversation today.
I am as well. Let's jump right in and begin with retail media. Retail media networks are proliferating and changing the way that consumers receive information about the products and services that they purchase. How big an impact are those networks having in today's marketplace?
Yeah, massive impact, Jeffrey, especially over the last, call it 24 months or so, as retailers get very serious about these retail networks. We all know about Walmart Connect and Target Roundel and Amazon Ads, and Amazon Ads started this whole trend and this focus on targeting consumers on a platform. But we're seeing a lot of other retailers out there moving into this space. There's over 50 retailer networks out there. So the Criteos of the world, Instacart, Epsilon, Kroger, Safeway, Albertsons. It's existential from a retailer perspective. They've got to be good at retail networks in order to survive, just because e-commerce is just so expensive for a retailer. Interesting stat is that CPG companies will spend more money on retail media networks next year than TV. Wow. So that tells you how significant this is and how important this is that we partnered around this from an industry standpoint.
Mm-hmm. And, you gave that stat that sort of, I guess, looks to 1 year out, but how big an impact will this have in remaking the whole media market 5 years down the road, do you think?
It's going to have a big impact, and there's really two reasons. Number one, it's all about the consumer and the shopper. And, as inflation has grown and prices are higher, these retail media networks are even more important. What we're seeing with the better retail media networks is a focus on personalized deals and offers targeted to the right consumers. So if I'm into healthy beverages, or if I'm into organics, or I'm looking for a sustainable sun care product, it's not the shotgun approach that we used to have from a circular standpoint or TV standpoint. It's really directed to the right shopper, the right consumer with the right offer. So I think that's one of the reasons why this will continue to grow. And from a retailer standpoint, as I said, it's important for them to really make sure that they understand how to target their consumers, how to target their shoppers. It's also important for the P&L. The research that we've done in talking to retailers from an Acosta Group standpoint, the margins on retail media networks are 80 to 90% in a very low margin business from a retail standpoint. So it's significant. Having the right data to understand their shoppers from a competitive standpoint, and then also, again, not having this shotgun approach anymore and really focused on the right offers at the right time for the right shoppers and consumers. And manufacturers and retailers working together, I think, are really the secret to unlock here.
Can you tell me, is there a big difference between the best retail media network and then some of the lesser ones at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. There absolutely is. And, I would say I mentioned Walmart, Target, and Amazon. They're excellent. You're able to really target the consumer that you're looking for based on your brand. You can look at things like occasion. You can look at things about cross-purchase. You can target from a competitive standpoint. Those big networks are doing a really good job also specifically with good data, good first-party data to understand what return on investment is. I think the smaller networks are definitely catching up, and they're catching up because consumer behavior is changing dramatically. And what we found was shopping online versus shopping in-store are not mutually exclusive anymore. People do a little bit of both. So retailers that understand that and develop the right digital strategies are the ones that are going to win. And we do see a lot of the regionals and then smaller and even kind of the larger regionals from a grocery perspective and the drug chains starting to catch up and learn from Walmart and Amazon and Target.
You mentioned in-store versus online purchases. How should retailers think about leveraging those two against one another and using digital to bridge that divide?
Yeah, they have to think about both. That always start with consumer and shopper behavior, and we just did a study with our shopper panel, and we found that 69% of all shoppers use some type of app, whether that's the Walmart app, whether it's the Publix app, whether it's the Target app. They use some type of app to help them shop. If you look at Gen Z and millennials, that number goes up to over 82%. So what we're finding, especially with that younger cohort, is they're actually using the app in store to shop. They're looking for the best offers. They're looking for digital coupons. They're looking for inspiration through recipes and ideas for parties. And they're looking also to help them navigate the store and find products on the store. So these apps need to be integrated with the in-store experience. And the best retailers are doing that. They're doing that by making sure that their digital strategies linked to their brick and mortar strategy. There's one commercial strategy, and it's focused around understanding how the shopper is actually shopping today from a mission perspective.
And if we gotten to the point where retailers are truly agnostic about where purchases are made,
I think it's starting to morph. I think one of the things that retailers are doing a much better job at is they're creating a more interesting store experience. So things like produce and meats, those are still experiential buys from a shopper perspective. So I think the better retailers are really doing a better job around that. Things like catering and bakery are areas. We're also seeing a strong trend from a restaurant perspective into supermarkets and other outlets. So they're creating a better in-store experience, but they're also linking that to the digital experience as well with the right offers and the right communication and the right information to the shopper.
how do you see suppliers, CPG companies, using these digital tools? Are they using them to communicate more directly with their customers and, in a sense, bypassing the retailer?
Yeah, I think, bypassing the retailer, probably not. Using digital in very different ways to reach consumers and shoppers through the streaming services now and through other outlets. I think that's going to continue. Obviously, less radio, less TV specifically, more into the streaming platform. So media is definitely changing, but retail media networks play a really important part of that. And one of the reasons why retail media networks play such an important part of that is, you're looking at first-party data here. You're actually able to target shoppers and understanding their behavior and using first-party data with the retailers overall. And that's what manufacturers are very focused on. The key question for manufacturers in these retail media networks today is, what's my return on investment? How do I attribute a sale from a digital perspective versus a brick and mortar standpoint? And this is the real push from a manufacturer standpoint now. And there's a lot of pressure on retailers to begin to share more data to make sure that the measurements that they're using with the manufacturers are more accurate. Because the budgets that are being used are the trade spend budgets that are starting to change a little bit, less in-store activity, more digital. And then from a retailer standpoint, there's an opportunity to get more brand or marketing money overall. So having the right measurements is key. And Jeffrey, what we're doing and what we're recommending from an Acosta Group standpoint is don't look at this just from a marketing standpoint with your marketing KPIs, and don't look at it just from a sales KPI standpoint. We think there's a new model, and we've been very focused with our clients to focus on that new model. The left side of the model is the sales side of the model: availability, merchandising, price, and space, and really understanding how to make sure you maximize those things to grow your business overall. But the other side of the model is really the marketing side of the model from a KPI standpoint: new to brand, lifetime value, click-through rates, reach, and frequency. So a really good CPG executive today that's managing a large account business needs to understand both sides of the equations. They need to think differently about the business and look at both sides of the equations to make sure that they're reaching the shopper and they're maximizing their investment and they're helping the retailer grow their business and satisfy the shopper in the best way possible.
You guys are very deep in analytics. Would you like to see the model change?
So, I came up through the business. I've been in the industry, lucky enough to be in this great industry for over 35 years. And, I remember the early days of category management when we started sharing data from a category perspective, and we had category captains, and every decision we made, whether it was trying to make changes in the condiment aisle or trying to make changes in frozen food or the beverage aisle, we had to have the lens on what's right for the category for the retailer. And we did a really good job of sharing data together. I think what's important today is most retailers have great first-party data, but they're monetizing that data. I think we need to open up a little bit more, and we need to share data better between the manufacturer and the retailer so we can have good joint business planning processes that are focused against the shopper and using the right data, not just from a tactical standpoint and transactional standpoint to help pad our margins on a P&L, but to really drive the business and grow the business on behalf of the shopper. I think that's the biggest area that we are very focused on, and we're seeing the industry starting to morph to that area as well.
You mentioned return on investment and how critical that is. In this brave new world, how do you measure that? How would you advise one of your clients, whether it be a retailer or a supplier, to really get a handle on their investment and what they're getting for it?
Well, there's always base promotion and RGM tactics to really understand the dollars that you're spending. What we can do now from a data perspective is really understand what's going on in the shopper's household. Are we offering a deal that's too rich, that's getting too much inventory put into a shopper's cupboard or pantry? With these new marketing vehicles from a medium standpoint, we're understanding who the shopper is. Is this a new shopper? What else can we work with that shopper to inspire them with new packages or new SKUs or new innovation? So I think what's opened up to us is more data, more information, and more information about the shopper, where the shopper's shopping, what their behavior is, and then how to best satisfy that shopper. So I think that's the most important thing, doing things that are right on behalf of the category, but doing things that are right on behalf of the shopper as well. And we've got some great data around that now.
Could you elaborate on that data a little bit, what it's showing you?
What we're doing with a lot of our clients is really understanding, how many times a year is a shopper buying a brand? Where is that shopper buying that brand from a retailer perspective? Is this shopper deal sensitive or not deal sensitive? And then how do we use that data to really develop more specific offers? So, Jeffrey, if you like organic iced tea, then we can figure out that Just Iced Tea, which is a new brand out there, is a perfect product for you. Before, we'd have to just set up this huge display at store level and hope we gained your attention. Now we can send you a specific offer because we know that you're into organics and you love iced tea, so try this new brand. So we're doing a lot with new brands. We're doing getting an understanding of what the right packages are for the right households, and doing a much better job on strategic price and packaging and revenue growth management planning with retailers.
So it sounds, John, a final question for you. It sounds like retail media and the information around it is going to help achieve personalization, which I guess is the holy grail of retailing these days. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think there's two things that are really important here. I think personalization will continue to become more an important part of the marketing mix. And there's a lot of questions. Are people being served too many ads, or retail media networks bothering people? And our point of view is if you're serving the right offer to the right person with the right brand, it's something that actually adds value to that shopper's life. They're getting a good offer on something that they're interested in to satisfy their needs and their family's needs. I think the piece that we need to think about is that personalization is important, and target audience, targeted promotions are important. What's also important, and where retailers are rethinking this, is making sure that when people are seeing something on their device or something at home, that when they're walking in the store, that product is prominently displayed. So you've got end caps, you've got the right displays in the right areas from an adjacency standpoint, the product is on shelf. So what I see happening now, and what we're excited about, is retailers are starting to open up with this. It's not just, okay, buy my retail media network and then negotiate with me at store level for activity. It's, let's do the right thing with our retail media network with the right shoppers, and then let's activate at store level to make sure that we're capturing their attention and we're satisfying their needs if they're not buying online. So to me, I think that's one of the big changes from an industry standpoint that's so important for us to succeed together.
John, this has been fantastic. I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Absolutely, Jeffrey. It's always great catching up with you. I appreciate it, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you.